What's going on, stackers? So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the truth about selling KDP notebooks over on Amazon. So, welcome back to Stacking Profit. My name's Paddy and over here we give you the tools and resources to learn, grow and master passive income streams so that you can live a life of freedom. Now, like I said in this video, I'm going to share with you the truth about selling notebooks over on Amazon. Now, if you want to, or you're currently trying to create and sell any type of notebook over on Amazon, then stick around and watch the entirety of this video because you're going to get some really key points. Now, here we are in my Get Book report. What I'm going to do is to share with you my results. We're going to go through a couple different of my pen names for my composition notebooks and my notebooks, so I can just show you some stats, and then we're really going to talk about the truth about selling low content books, or should I say the truth about selling notebooks over on Amazon. Now here's my results. We can see that I've come close to $96,000. I've been publishing for 3 years this month, which is absolutely insane, and I have 4,051 books. Now if we scroll down all the way down to round about here, we can see my results through my pen names. Now there's a couple of ones that I'm going to pull up, one being this one. This is one of my notebook brands where I've made $14,000, and then right here, this is one of my composition notebook brands where I've made $6,500. Now if we pull up one of these just here so we can go through, in this one we can see that I have 348 books attached to this pen name, and it's made me $14,600. Then with this one, this is another one of my pen names, I have 379 books making $6,500. Now these are for notebooks and composition notebooks because they're very similar in terms of research. Now what I want to do is just go all the way down to round about the bottom just here. My best-selling composition notebook is here, where I've sold 2,284 copies, making close to $5,000. Now if we go back over to my other pen name just here and scroll down to here as well, we can see very similar results. 2,500 units sold, making $4,000. Now this is my best-selling notebook, and this one is my best-selling composition notebook. Now why am I sharing all of this with you? Well, because there's a key point that I want to talk about, and that is the truth about selling notebooks or composition notebooks over on Amazon. Now, what is the truth? Well, the truth is you're going to need a lot of books, especially for notebooks or composition notebooks. So the truth, again, you're going to need a lot of books. Now, why is this? Now, let's scroll back up. In fact, let's go over to Helium 10 so I can explain a little bit more in depth on why you need lots of notebooks or composition notebooks. Well, the main reason is most niches for notebooks and composition notebooks are micro niches. Now, what's a micro niche? Well, that's a certain niche where only a small group of people are searching within that niche each and every month. Hence, a micro niche. Now, like I said, when it comes to composition notebooks, let's scroll back up to roundabout here. When it comes to composition notebooks and normal notebooks, they're practically the same because there's a lot of niches that can cross over from compositions to normal notebooks. But most of these niches are micro niches, which again means there's not going to be lots of people searching in those niches. So right here, I've made over $14,500, but I have 348 composition notebooks. Now, if we go over to this brand name, we can see that I have 379 notebooks, and this has made me $6,500. And the majority of all of these niches are micro niches. Now let's go back over to Helium 10 so that I can show you exactly what I mean. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, I always talk about how niches are everywhere, especially for colouring books, notebooks and composition notebooks. So with these types of book types, niches are everywhere. I always say you can go over to Google and check for lists of animals, pets, sports, food and things like this. Then you can go through that list to see if there's demand over on Amazon. Now what I've gone ahead and done is just taken one niche out of the sports niche. So right here for composition notebook we've decided to look at basketball. So a basketball composition notebook. Now if we look here we can look at estimated search volume. Now this is an estimation because this isn't spot on. They try and guess it to the best of their ability, but it's good to see some data like this. But anyway, basketball composition notebook is a micro niche. We can see that from this search volume. There's 74 searches a month at the minute for a basketball composition notebook. So this is a micro niche. Now let's just give that a second to load up. We can see the traffic over 1 year. If we go to all time, we can see that the highest was around about here where it got 575 searches. But we can see that the searches are really low. So again, this is a micro niche. Now if we go over to here, I've pulled up a different niche. This is a cat composition notebook. But again, we can see that search volume is fairly low. Not as low as the previous one we just looked at, but 451 searches for cat composition notebook. So again, like I said, anything can be a niche. You can go through sports. So basketball, if we go back just one, basketball is just one niche out of hundreds of different niches in the sports niche. So you have basketball, football, soccer, rugby, and the list goes on. Again, basketball just being one niche. Then cat being one niche out of thousands of different animals. Then I've pulled up another one just here, which is a pineapple composition notebook. Now pineapple being one food out of thousands of different types of foods. But if we look here, we can see that search volume is only 60. So let's click on here for a second, just so we can see that all-time traffic. If we go to all-time just there, we can see it gets traffic, but not a lot. Again, because this is a micro niche. This is what most people don't tend to understand. The amount of traffic for a certain niche will determine how much money you make. So if I were to create a pineapple notebook, I know I'm not going to make thousands of sales each and every month from this book because the traffic does not allow it. But when you find niches like this, pineapple composition notebook, which has 60 monthly searches, you can expect to make a few sales each and every month. Well, that's if you have a good quality book, but you're not going to make thousands of sales every month from a niche that only gets 60 searches a month or whatever it is, again because this is a micro niche. So the truth about selling notebooks or composition notebooks again is that you're going to need a lot of books because most of the niches in composition notebooks and standard notebooks are micro niches. Now if we go back over to here to one of my pen names where I have 379 books, this is mainly for notebooks. Now all the notebooks I created here are mainly in micro niches, but as you can see I've had one do extremely well. I've sold 2,200 copies, making 4,400 in royalties. Same goes for this little brand just here. If we scroll back down to the bottom, we can see my best-selling composition notebook. Actually, that's the wrong way round. This one is my best-selling composition notebook. This one is my best-selling notebook. So if we look here, I've sold 2,500, again, making just over $4,000. But how's that possible if all of my books are in micro niches? Well, believe it or not, even though a book is in a micro niche, it can still pop off and make a lot of sales. It all depends on how you target your keywords and all of the other keywords that people are searching to find your book. So even though you might go ahead and start creating books in micro niches, chances are you're still going to have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 books that do actually pop off and do extremely well, even if the niche doesn't allow it. Again, if we go back over to here, we can see that Basketball Composition Notebook only gets 74 searches, but there might be a few different keywords after your book has been live on Amazon for a few months. There might be a few different keywords that people are actually searching to find that book, because no matter what keyword you target, that people are going to find your books through lots of different keywords, and the longer your book is on Amazon, the more keywords that it ranks for. So if we go back over to here, to my best-selling composition notebook, this has been live on Amazon for a good couple of years now. So now it's been on there, on the platform, for a few years. There's hundreds of different keywords that people are searching and finding this book. Anyway, I kind of digress a little bit. My point is that if you do want to create notebooks or composition notebooks, you're going to need a lot of books, because most of the niches are micro niches. You are still going to have a few books that might pop off, but most of these niches are micro niches, which again means that there's only going to be a certain amount of people searching for that niche each and every month. And that's what most people don't realise. So if you're new to publishing and you want to create a composition notebook, you might go ahead and create 5 composition notebooks. You might do a basketball one, you might do a cat one, and you might even do a pineapple one. Now, once that's live and generating sales, there's only a certain amount of sales that you can make every month, because the niche doesn't allow it, or should I say that traffic in that niche doesn't allow it. So pineapple composition notebook, if I were to create this, is getting 60 searches at the minute, and that means that I'm not going to make thousands of sales. So really understand that. Now, on a side note, if you want to try out Helium-10, then check out that link down in the description below, where you can get 50% off your first month when you use code STACKINGPROFIT50, or 10% off every month when you use STACKINGPROFIT10. Again, if this is something that you're interested in, there will be a link down in the description below. Disclaimer, it is an affiliate link, so if you do decide to purchase, I will make a small commission. Anyway, back to here. Let's just go back over to one of my pen names for a second, just so I can go through a little bit more of my results, because let's scroll all the way down to round about here. Again, this is my best selling. You are going to have books that pop off, that's just the way it is. But if we look further down the line, we can see how many of my composition notebooks have actually been selling. So this one, I sold 207 units, making $390, 90 here, 64, 70, 52, 53, 29. And the further we go down this list, we can see my results. Now, if we stop here, I've got niches or books, composition notebooks in niches where I've only sold 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. As we can see that just here, 5, 4, 3. Again, why is that? Well, because the niche doesn't allow for thousands of sales each and every month. All these niches just here are micro niches. So let's actually go ahead and take one of these niches. This is in the B niche. So this is a B composition notebook. If we look just here, this is space composition notebook. This one right here, actually I'm not going to say that one, but you get the idea. My books, my composition notebooks, my notebooks are in lots of micro niches. And again, let's just do that. That's why I have a lot of books. And that's the truth about selling notebooks and composition notebooks. Most of these are in micro niches, so you're going to need a lot of books. And another thing is the competition. There's a hell of a lot of competition for composition notebooks and notebooks. Why is that? Well, they're relatively easy to create. Remember, the easier it is to create a book, the more competition that there's going to be. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, go hit subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you can be notified for any further videos. That being said, I've been Paddy, this has been Stacking Profit, and I'll see you again soon.